Hillsdale's 99P on his outside. The Williamson Welding number 12. That'll be the heavy Chevy Chad Chevalier. Justin Sharp back there in spot number 3. And the Blue Moon Potatoes number 8S. The Mongrel, Jay Mallory, Hall of Famer here at Oswego Speedway, car number 20 on the outside. In the 4th spot, Adam Leslie out of Port Colborne back there in spot number 5 to his outside, Trevor Wright. In the Central Fabricating number 09, Chris Waters in the 119 goes from 7th, and Rob Sauter will go from spot 8 in car 93.
8 laps the distance for these Sportsman heats. Greg Penante leads the way as they rumble down into turn 3. Chad Chevalier heading up towards the cushion of the racetrack on the outside in that white number 12.
Chevalier on the outside line, but it's Greg Penante on the bottom, and he will have the lead down the back stretch with Sharp in tow. Chevalier back there in spot number 3. Adam Leslie running in the 4th spot. He works to the inside of Chevalier. Challenge for the lead as well as Sharp took a look low on Greg Penante.
Penante's not running a defensive line. I think he's running his racing groove, but not leaving Justin Sharp a whole lot of room to make his maneuver, because you'd have to go to the outside and go all the way around the outside. You have to head really to the high side of this racetrack, and it looks like there's enough bite on the bottom that the fastest way around is right hugging the inside of that racetrack.
Coming down to the cross flags, 4 on the board, 4 to go for Greg Penante in the 99P. Sharp back there in the 2nd spot. All cars will qualify tonight for the A main, so no B main necessary, but all racing going on right now, trying to sort out how they will start in tonight's feature event.
Yeah, everybody here with the Sportsmen going to qualify for tonight's feature. So like you said, this is just for starting position, and Greg Penante leading the way around the bottom. The one nice thing about these heats, Greg, they are really seating in that bottom groove at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, because that was a sloppy mess earlier on tonight. We were delayed during hot laps to get the lower groove packed in, but it is getting a workout here now with the Sportsmen down on that bottom side. Right now, Penante leads over Sharp, Chevalier, Leslie, and Wright, your top 5.
One more lap to go with the white flag flies. Greg Penante near to get full straightaway advantage over Sharp, who's got Chad Chevalier and Adam Leslie right on his tail.
Half a lap to go as Penante works it through corner number 3 and into corner 4. Coming to the checkered flag from Kyle McKenzie. He'll get the heat race win over Sharp. And then it's Leslie 3rd over Chevalier. Wright will come home in 5th over Mallory. And then Waters and Rob Sauter will come home in the 8th spot. So Greg Penante picks up the win in heat race number 1 for the ROC Sportsman. We've also got another hat to give away here tonight, or we have another prize to give away. It's a hat. It's a DeGroot Hill Chevrolet Aaron Rowitsky number 4 hat. Aaron knew that we called him Foghorn Leghorn after he lost the whole side panel off the car, and Adam made the comment he looked like Foghorn Leghorn after he lost all of his feathers.
And that is from someone who is far too young to know who Foghorn Leghorn was.
They pay attention on Friday nights, I guess. Ready to go, the second qualifying heat. Dylan Davidson and James Michael Friesen on the front row. Darrell Fairway and Jordan Costco back in row 2. Matt Sharp, Tyler Pacholski, row 3. Mike Bior back there in the 7th spot. And Joey Harrimans will start in the 8th spot.
Down into 3 for the first time. Everyone's still preferring that bottom groove as they race off a 3 and down across the stripe. Dylan Davidson leading the way over James Michael Friesen, Darrell Fairway. Jordan Costco running in that 4th position, then a little ways back to the 21 of Tyler Pacholski.
Off of corner 4 they go. Dylan Davidson leads him into corner 1. He just picked up a win. Was it Maryville?
At Maryville Speedway.
Maryville,
yeah,
yes.
Really cool to see.
Big win for Dylan. Good to see that. And I'm sure Papa was happy about that. Cross the line, completes lap number 3. 5 laps left to go. Here, ROC Sportsman heat race number 2. Davidson leading over Fairway. James Michael Friesen back there in spot 3. Jordan Costco riding along in 4th as we see the cross flags come up. 4 on the board, 4 to go.
You still hear them bouncing off those rev limiters just a little bit, trying to get all the RPMs out of these engines that they can. I like what they're doing to the bottom groove of this racetrack as we look in the end. I think it's going to be great things for the sprint cars when they come out shortly, as we got one around down into turn 3, unfortunately spinning to the infields.
And that will bring the caution out. Mike Bior spins to the entry of corner number 3. That's why we don't let the photographers stand there.
No, the photographers get to stand where the dirt lands when someone does spin to the inside of turn 3. What a crowd tonight. We thank you so much for coming out to Ohsweken Speedway for the Northern Summer Nationals. For their heats, the backstretch stands are absolutely jammed. Last night they had to close the pits to any more vehicle traffic because it could not accommodate any more cars.
So again, our live feed will be ending here momentarily as we will switch over to the MAV TV Canada feed, available only in Canada. We apologize to those tuning in from south of the border, but those here north of the border with MAV TV Canada, check your local listings. We will be live at the top of the hour.
And if you are watching online and you like what you see, don't forget we're here each and every Friday night throughout the summer, with the exception of this Friday, as Bior in the 54, looks like something has gone awry in the steering of that race car as he has nosed into the inside concrete. And even on a regular Friday night show here at the Big O, we have full car counts with our sprint cars, crate sprints, thunder stocks, and mini stock divisions. That's quite a spread they put on down there.
Dylan Davidson, James Michael Friesen going at it at the front, 1 and 2. Darryl Fairway back there to the 3rd spot.
2 laps to go, twice more in this Sportsman heat, with Davidson continuing to lead the way in that 73, but things are a lot tighter up the front. James Michael Friesen up to the outside. That opens the door for Darryl Fairway to work the bottom.
Yep. Davidson across the line. White flag is out, and he's got a sizable advantage over James Michael Friesen back in position number 2. Down the back stretch they go. Here comes Pachulski now down to the inside of Costco, looking for the 4th spot.
One more time off of turn number 4. The win going to go to Davidson. The battle is for 4th. Friesen, Fairway, then it's Pachulski, and Costco rounding out the top 5.
Good run for young Dylan Davidson. Picked up his first ever Sportsman feature win earlier this season. That'll make the folks who are regulars here from King Paving and Construction happy, as their one chance. I'm told the regulars here, and they're cheering for Dylan tonight.
Talking because you are the people that matter to us. We're here to put on a show. Heat race number 3 on the track. On the pole is Brad Rouse from Fort Erie in the 18. Dave DePietro from North Tonawanda. And now I can't say Tonawanda. In the 68, Robbie Johnston out of Ransomville in the 33J. Dan Ferguson in the 11 from Bloomfield. Emily Pachulski from Port Colborne in the 12P. Sam Junkin out of Alden, New York in the 2. Chris Hawkins from Stevensville in the 25. And Lee Mallory drives the 44.
Rouse pulls out to the early lead as they work it down the back stretch. Good battle side by side for the 2nd spot. DePietro drops back to 3rd, though, coughs up that spot to Robbie Johnston. Here he comes back at the bottom in 1.
Good run down the front straightaway off of number 4, but Robbie Johnston on that higher groove, able to run a smoother line, keep on the throttle. You saw DePietro slide up the racetrack, and he had to lift off of the throttle.
Brad Rouse, oh so good in the Sportsman division. He is good no matter what track he is at. He can go down into New York State and be just as good as he is here on his home turf. Brad Rouse, a long-time runner in the Sportsman, and he is out in front. No surprise in that 18. Our Rick's delivery machine.
Yeah, Brad Rouse, one of the dominant forces in dirt sportsman racing over the last number of years, in a beautiful race car. That car is beautifully prepared every time it hits the racetrack.
Rouse leads it down into one. Johnston back there in that second spot, jumping up to position. And number 3, Dan Ferguson in the 11. New colors for him here in 2019.
Rouse by more than half a straightaway over Johnston in the 33, leading the way. Everything sort of spread itself out a little bit. Glenn Steyer sitting beside us in the tower. He's going to join us on tonight's broadcast when we kick things off here shortly. Off of turn number 4, white flag flies. One more lap to go. Brad Rouse continues to lead over Robbie Johnson. Dan Ferguson in that third position. Dave DiPietro being challenged by Emily Pachalski in the 12P. One more time. I don't believe we're going to see any of these positions change. Brad Rouse takes the win over Robbie Johnston. Dan Ferguson third. Dave DiPietro, Emily Pachalski, Sam Junkin, and Lee Mallory. And that's how they will cross the line. Folks, it is time for 360 Dirt Sprint Cars.
17th starting spot goes to Joey Harriman here in Ontario in the 57 car. And going from the 18th spot, Sam Junkin at Walden Northern Car 2. 19th position will go to Chris Waters in the 119 and start on his outside. Starting 21st, that'll be now car 44, Tom Sauer. Over. Second, 23rd, Mike Dale over for Hayes. This on the 4-1. On the front stretch. Racing Jack. Down into corner number 1, and it gets busy quick. Here comes Greg Panante. He was fast in the heats, and he's out to the lead going into corner 3.
Dylan Davidson got a nice run off of turn number 2. He's up in the third spot, but Brad Rouse to the inside of him. He's going to take that third position. Not so fast at the stripe. Davidson wins that battle at the line. One lap complete.
4 wide mid-pack, and the guy on the outside is Dan Ferguson, the pole sitter, and now problems on the left front for Trevor Wright, and he will pull the 09 now down to the infield. The left front bent over on that 09 machine.
Tough ending for that driver as his night ends after completing just one lap of the scheduled 30-lap distance. Out in front, Greg Panante leading the way by 8 car lengths over Justin Sharp in the yellow number 8. Sharp up on the high side of the racetrack. Brad Rouse running in third on the bottom.
Want to talk about a guy that's good on a dry, slick track. That guy in third place, Brad Rouse. We've heard from him already, and this is what makes him so good, because when you get into New York State, you get into some dry, slick tracks, and Brad Rouse, here he is making his run on the second spot on Justin Sharp. Dylan Davidson right behind them.
Greg Panante, he's got a lot of wins at this racetrack. So does Brad Rouse in the 18 machine, and they're showing that right now. They just know their way around this facility. Panante stretching that advantage a little bit over Justin Sharp in the 8S, but how much of that is being set up for the end of the race? Brad Rouse runs a lot of extra distance races, Greg, so I would expect him to have a good setup towards the end of this race, and maybe that's what he was thinking when they put the setup under the race car for this feature.
Yeah, very good point, Adam. He knows about the extra distances and how to set these cars up for those such races as here he goes to the inside of Justin Sharp. Sharp officially now back to the third spot. Dylan Davidson there in fourth. And Chad Chevalier riding inside the top 5. Adam Leslie just on the outside in the 15 car. He's running in the 6th spot. And right behind him, Darryl Fairway and Dave DiPietro are going at it.
I like what Chevalier did the last time in 3 and 4. He pitches the car in a little bit sideways, gets it to take a set, and he's really able to drive straight through turn 4. So in effect, you're almost making the front straightaway a little bit longer to carry more speed down into turn 1.
Dan Ferguson, the pole sitter, has pulled off now on lap number 8, so troubles for the Bloomfield, Ontario driver. As Greg Panunte sets the pace, but Brad Rouse looks to be closing the gap.
Nearly a 2-second advantage last time at the stripe. This time as they come by, yeah, Brad Rouse has picked up nearly half a second on Greg Panunte in the 99P. But anybody in this top 5 still within contention, Greg.
3rd, 4th, and 5th, running some different lines right now, although Chad Chevalier and the Justin Sharp machine running just higher than Dylan Davidson, and those three have been kind of going back and forth.
So curious to watch these drivers. It's just very, very minor differences in the lines they run, where they start to get on the throttle, where they, I don't want to say they're ever coasting, but there are times when you're just letting the suspension do the work through the turn, and then there's times when you're trying to get back to the throttle and really put the power down as Chad Chevalier goes to the inside of Justin Sharp.
Top 2 remain about 4 or 5 car lengths apart. Greg Panunte leading, beginning to catch the tail end of the field. Rouse in 2nd, Davidson running 3rd. Put a little distance on himself between he and Chad Chevalier and Justin Sharp. Chevalier just got by Sharp. Sharp's going to shoot back by on the bottom.
Great battle back there for the 4th position as Greg Panunte closing in on some slower traffic right now, and he's been committed to the bottom every single lap in that 99, and he may have to get up off the bottom unless he wants to try to wedge himself to the inside and get a little assertive on this lap traffic.
Brad Rouse up on that outside line. We'll see if the gap closes this time by, and it does. Cut it in half. 6/10.
Greg Panunte with a nice move to get to the inside of that slower traffic. He'll clear both of them off of turn 2 down into 3. Now it's up to Rouse to try to do the same thing as the cross flags mean. Halfway through this one, 15 laps down, 15 laps to go.
Panunte, Rouse right there, a couple car lengths apart. They've got some distance on Dylan Davidson, but he has closed the gap here in about the last 5-6 laps in that number 73 machine.
Davidson really charged turn number 3 and got the car slowed up enough to keep it on the bottom of the racetrack. That's an exciting line being run by that number 73 machine. The entire top 5, unless I'm crazy, seems to be closing back in like an accordion, Greg.
And right behind them, Adam Leslie and James Michael Friesen not far off of this fight inside the top 5. They're right there within striking distance of Chad Chevalier.
Brad Rouse just 2 car lengths off the back bumper of Greg Panunte going into 1 and 2. Panunte got off the corner a lot better, picked up about 3 car lengths down the backstretch, but Rouse able to close that distance, watch it slip away. This is what we watched earlier on in the feature event for the Thunderstock division, the way things spread out and close back in.
Greg Panunte, Brad Rouse, Dylan Davidson, the top 3 now make it the top 6. Well, now 7 as Adam Leslie gets by a lap car. Top 7 are all clear of lap traffic.
And all on the same straightaway. Right now, Greg Panunte, if he had a rear view mirror, it'd be a great time to just grab it and throw it out the race car. You don't want to see what's going on behind you. He's led the entire distance so far. The bottom is working pretty well for him, and he stays out in front by that 4 car lengths or so over Brad Rouse, as Kyle McKenzie both hands down in front of these drivers saying there's 10 laps left.
This is where things will get interesting. If you've set your car up for the longer run here tonight, this 30-lap feature, time to show what you've got. Brad Rouse kind of searching around, it seems, though.
Well, and Rouse has been doing that the entire race. He's not run the same line an awful lot. We're going to see if that pays off for him. Greg Penante has not varied from the line he's been running, but of course, why would he? It's been working for him as Brad Rouse sails that car into 3 and 4 on the outside.
Here he comes around the outside of corner 4. 2 lap cars directly in front of Greg Penante as the leaders go down into corner number 1. Rouse is there and shows the nose a little bit on the left rear of that 99P machine. That's the closest he's been all night. Here he comes on the outside line with lap traffic in between.
Penante trying to get that nose to the inside. This is a big moment for Greg Penante. If he can clear this lap traffic without having to stray from his line, that'll be a huge deal for the driver, the number 99.
The driver that likes the lap traffic the most, I think, is Dylan Davidson. He's caught the top 2 now. He's right there on the back bumper of the 18R. Brad Rouse working off of corner number 4. Penante leads at the line over Rouse, Davidson, Chevalier, and James Michael Friesen.
And that's the driver by far with the least amount of experience is Dylan Davidson in the 73. You would think that would not bode well for him in slow traffic, but it seems to be working just fine as he works his way through as Chad Chevalier again pitches the car up into 3, drives it hard off of turn number 4. Man, I love that move by Chevalier. We have got a great battle for the lead.
Penante, Rouse, Chevalier, all right there, as well as Dylan Davidson. Dylan Davidson gets shuffled back into the 4th position as the leaders have worked by Joey Harriman, so the top 2 break free as Davidson and Chevalier continue to go back and forth.
Chevalier up about 2 lanes off the bottom of the racetrack. Dylan Davidson right around the concrete wall on the inside, which makes slower traffic a big story. Chevalier going to drive into 3 like he's been doing. Drive it off the cushion to the inside. What a move by Chevalier.
Down in corner 1, Brad Rouse is right there on the back bumper of Greg Penante. As they get into the corners, the differential closes, and Rouse trying to work it down the hill off of corner 4. He's right there.
Well, Greg Penante having to go to the high groove, well, just off the bottom to try to get around the slower traffic. Penante goes around, clips Chad Chevalier. Chevalier clips James Michael Friesen. Oh, my goodness. What an unfortunate turn of events for Greg Penante in the 99. We haven't heard anything from race officials just yet. Greg Penante takes his beautiful number 99 Gaston's Auto Sales car to the pit area.
Not sure if we can have another look at that replay. The corner 2 camera really caught the best view of it from the rooftop. dmstyres camera up top. Brad's car kind of blocks the action, so this view kind of hard to see. But the corner 2 replay, hopefully we'll get a chance to see. That's where we'll see the contact, the front wheels. Here we go.
Back to green. 2 laps remain to settle this one. Chad Chevalier, he took a hard lick as well, but he's still out there turning laps in that 12 machine. And James Michael Friesen, who has not really been a factor tonight, is up there challenging for the lead as we've got one stopped in turn number 1.
So I believe we're going to come back to the caution flag as Sam Junkin has brought out storylines. We've had a lot of that so far here over the 2 days, and I'm sure before the night ends, there's maybe going to be a discussion over in the Sportsman pit area, because I don't think Greg Penante's too happy over what happened there, and rightfully so. He had the car to beat, it looked like, early on.
Brad Rouse inching James Michael Friesen up the racetrack through 3 and 4. Friesen kind of rolling around the front end of the 18. Both of them hard on the throttle off of turn 4. I like the run Friesen got as Davidson bounces off the 12 of Chevalier.
Here comes Brad Rouse digging down on the inside. James Michael Friesen on the outside. As they go into corner number 3, side by side. This time by, we will see the white flag. One more trip around for the race of champion Sportsmen.
Beautiful crossover for James Michael Friesen coming off of turn 4. Rouse going to try to return the favor in 1 and 2.
Down the back stretch they go for the final time. JMF will lead them into corner number 3 in a car up and over on its side. And that will bring us under the red flag.
Red flag comes out to stop the action, so keep in mind, no checkered flag was thrown. That's a red flag.
Dave DiPietro is the one over on his side, the 68. So the field will come to a stop up in corner 2.
If I were them, I wouldn't head to the pits unless Joe Scott Nicky told them to. Well, that one had a little bit of everything, Greg Callan. Greg Penante is going to be disappointed, but if he really put some thought into it, he might have made that same move if it presented itself. Disappointing they didn't get to make that contact, rub each other up, and carry on.
Fireworks lighting up the sky as we remain under a commercial break right now, Clinton. So we are going to be a moment before we go down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane. Lone Wolf Fireworks, the official moment for those of you here. There is your winner, JMF.
How about it, ladies and gentlemen? James Michael Friesen picks up the win here in the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour. Jimmy, pretty good run.
Yeah, car was good. Redrawn 11, starting at the back there. We had some tough competition starting up front, so it took me a little bit to get there. And then looked like the leaders kind of got together, which got me a nice caution, got me 2 free spots, got me up there to race with Brad. And it would have been cool to go one more lap to see what he could have thrown at me, but the car was good, and I'm happy to be out here in front of all these people tonight.
Good job, James. That car, you were using all kinds of lanes around. Talk about the contact there when they got together in 1 and 2. You definitely took a lick. Were you worried?
I was, but I pulled up beside Chad, and I was kind of freaking out in my own head going, oh, man, I bent something up, and he just gave me the old, don't worry about it. And so it went from there, and it worked out.
Good job. James Michael Friesen picks up the win here tonight.
I just got underneath him and trying to squeeze down a little bit, and we come together, and he went around. So I don't know what happened. Like I said, it was underneath. He was dealing with a lap car, tried to go to the outside and switch lanes as I was already underneath. But
still an amazing run here for you. I think this is the best track we've had for the Sportsman cars in the last 5 years. Amazing surface for you guys. Did you have fun tonight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We always have fun when we come here. The track's always great, and you know what I mean? The hospitality and everything here is great. So.
Thanks, Chad. There you have it from Brad Rouse. The other guy, Heavy Chevy, Chad Chevalier. Chad, you were making moves out there. It almost looked like a bit of a hockey match up there. Elbows up the whole race. Tough sledding.
Yeah, we unfortunately we got caught up with that in that ordeal there. Ended up catching them there in lap traffic. Was hoping to do something, but it is the way it is, and we'll move on. It was a good race. Thanks to all the fans to be here, and Oshwegan for having us again.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your top 3 tonight. James Michael Friesen, Brad Rouse, and Chad Chevalier. You get it done for the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour here at the Northern Summer National.